Sup, everybody. The Sports Yammer is back. Thank you for your patience. For yesterday, we were going to try to do a show, but some technical difficulties happened, but we're back. We're back and better than ever. Matt will be here a little bit later. He's just taking care of some stuff for the radio station. But for those who don't know or haven't seen us before, I'm Kyle. I'm the co-host, and we got Ryan and Jay riding along today. Ryan, how you doing?
Doing good. Just finishing up work and ready to have a good show to make up for lost time.
Yes. And Jay, how you doing today?
I'm good. I can't complain. Life is we're good. We're in a good spot right now. Some things are working out in my favor, so hopefully some more like media content. So I'm excited.
Well, looking forward to that. Glad that you're in, a good space. We can definitely start talking about one team that might not be in good space right now. And segues, right? Today, we're going to start off with talking about the Cleveland Browns because they made a not necessarily surprising, but kind of a boneheaded decision on Monday after the second preseason game. They decided to go to Deshaun Watson as their starting quarterback for the 2026 season. Now, look, this is a they don't have a lot to work with, right? We're talking about Deshaun Watson. We're talking about Dylan Gabriel. We're talking about Shadur Sanders. No one looking good at all the last couple of years. Shadur Sanders, yes, he was 3-4 on the season, but his QBR was his quarterback rating was by far the worst in the league at I believe 18.9, which is it to give you some example on that, because my God, is that bad, right? For context on here. Some of these other quarterbacks this last year that did start, they had at least double what Shadur Sanders' rating was. I believe one was 40. Actually, we'll get to that in a second. But basically, you can say all you want that he's won 3 games. But he was not the reason why he won those games. Dylan Gabriel, 1-5, wasn't that much better. Deshaun Watson, when we last saw him, he was a complete shell of the quarterback that we once saw light it up for the Texans. Gone are the days where he threw over 4,000, close to 5,000 yards on a 4-12 Texans team. It feels incredible that we are 5 or 6 years away from the fact that J.J. Watt was leaving the last game of the season for the 4-12 Texans being, hey, we let you down. And now that quarterback's a shell of himself. So I first want to open this up to Ryan. They had a rock and a hard place when it came to this particular decision. But I guess, one, what are your thoughts on the move that they did? And do you see the justification of starting Deshaun Watson at the beginning of the season?
So I know I had an initial reaction in our group chat about it, and that still stands, but I've had some time to think about it, and there's a part of me that understands Monken's approach to this. So, as we all know, the Browns are not going to be a competitive football team this year. That's just kind of their lot in life at the moment. They're rebuilding. They've done some good stuff in the offseason and in the draft. And, what I think Monken's looking at is this. You can start Watson on the road, away from home, the first 2 games of the season. And if he plays poorly, he just gives the justification to go to Shadur week 3 at home in front of those fans who will be excited to see him. You don't want to send Shadur on the road, lose confidence, and bring him home, because that's for a young rookie. He's basically a rookie still, a young quarterback that he needs all the positiveness that he can get when it comes to being in the starting quarterback position. And I think it's much easier to go from Watson to Shadur than it is to go from Shadur to Watson. You know, am I surprised that they named him the starter? Yeah, because after that press conference, how the heck can you justify giving him the starting job? He tried to walk it back the next day, but like we all know how you really felt, dude. And the fact that he won't take any accountability and it's borderline delusional that he thinks it's only personal, it's not performance based. Like, have you seen your stats since you started? I think it's like 16 games for the Browns. You have 3,400 yards and 18 touchdowns in 5 years. Not to mention you were traded for 3 first-round picks and given a fully guaranteed $230 million contract. Yeah, the fans want to see some return on their money. They're tired of being on this carousel, not having a quarterback. This is one of the, I would say, most dedicated fan bases in the NFL. They show up week in and week out. God bless their souls with how bad they are. And the least they could do is have a guy they want to root for, who is an actually good human being. And Deshaun does not check that box by a long shot. My hope is that Monken's looking at it the way we are, where it's like you started 2 games in a row, plays poorly, and you can bench him. But you let week 3 and you just move forward with it. What I could see really actually happen is he starts both games and bad, and he still starts week 3. Just because that's just sports for them. They'll continuously make the running decision every turn given an opportunity. So yeah, it's a weird situation. I can understand the justification. Would I personally have done it? Absolutely not, because how do you look your fans in the eyes and be like, hey, we know you spent all this hard-earned money on jerseys, on ticket sales, on merch, and we want you to root for this guy who's clearly a scumbag of a human being and not a very good quarterback. It's a big ask, and I wouldn't be surprised if a lot of those fans have checked out on the season because Deshaun's starting. So yeah, that's kind of where I'm at with this whole quarterback situation.
So I will say before you go, one thing that I saw, which was interesting, was Mina Kimes had a reaction to this particular news, and she had brought up that there are definitely still people who are annoyed because this person was accused 27 counts of sexual harassment, right? And there are still people who are frustrated about that. But she's also has thrown out at this point that if Deshaun had played any sort of good over the last couple of years, that roar wouldn't necessarily be there as much as it was back in the day, which is, that's kind of crazy to say. I feel like we should still be focusing on, you've been accused of all these things. How are you even getting a shot in the NFL, let alone a guaranteed contract? But I mean, so that there's that one part. And then the stat before I forget it, total QBR for Shador was 18.9. For comparison, Cam Ward, who also didn't have a great year, had almost double that at 33.2. Jackson Dart had a 57.5, and Tyler Shuck had a 48.8. So, if you want to say that for Shador, it was rookie jitters. These other quarterbacks did almost twice as good as you did. So, I don't necessarily like that Deshaun is the starting quarterback, but also, can you really justify Shador being out there right now the way that he is? Oh, no, sorry, Shane, I should have thrown it to you. Yeah.
No, I've been thinking about this the last couple of days, and for me, my thing is the Browns put themselves in the position they're in right now. They have mismanaged the quarterback position as well as whoever is head coaching, as well as whatever roster moves they make. They have mismanaged their team for the last however many years to get to this point. You went and you gave a guaranteed contract to a dude that you knew was, 1, going to be suspended, and 2, you knew wasn't going to be a great person. 3, was already trending in most headlines, and 4 was going to have to play under that pressure. And of course, you can't do anything with injury health and stuff like that, but you already put yourself in that position where you had to hope a guy that already showed that he was not reliably a good person was going to be a reliably better football player. That's just bad money management. On top of that, you then go and you have this ring around the rosy with your quarterback on your drafts last season, where you go and get Dylan Gabriel and you go and get Shador Sanders, and you still don't know which one to play. Joe Flacco ends up becoming the starter. So it's you are in this situation because you don't know how to actually run a football team. You don't know what makes sense for the fans to want to root for. If I'm a Cleveland Browns fan, I'm already disgusted because they just got rid of Myles Garrett this past offseason. And on top of that, you had probably the easiest decision to make. Not saying that Shedeur Sanders is a better quarterback. I don't even know if Shedeur Sanders is a good quarterback. But you had the easier decision and at least saying, hey, here's a young guy that everyone is excited to watch play. Let's throw him out there. If he's bad, he's bad. And I do agree with what Ryan said. It's much easier to go from Deshaun to Shedeur. And like that's the hard part is like they had to make a decision. And you're not winning 10 games regardless of who you put out there. You're not winning 8 games whoever you put out there. So the fact that you already are in this position where you had to name someone a starter, you were going to have a losing record. The fact that you sat there and still, I would have, if I'm in this situation, which I would never be in because I wouldn't employ a person like that, you have to avoid the contract, eat the dead cap. You haven't used it well anyway. That's really it. You want to get fans back in your stadium, even if they have paper bags on. How about you void the contract and you say, hey, my bad, because you made a mistake. It's okay. You should have done that 4 or 5 years ago, but you didn't. It is what it is. You tried to save face with it, and I understand paying him so much money that you kind of feel like you have to start him, but he shouldn't be in the league, in my opinion. I don't know what team takes a chance on him after his contract's over. So the Cleveland Browns themselves, I see the only upside I see to starting Shedeur would be for the fan factor. And I think that's all you can really do is try and get back. Because I think they have a concept of a good team, especially after the Myles Garrett trade. It's not a bad trade necessarily. But it's just like they have nothing to root for. And they're not going to be good anytime soon. So at this point, try and get some butts back in seats.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. To give a little bit more context in terms of like what, I mean, not just how bad Watson was as a person, but just how bad he has been as a quarterback, right? So we talked about the 4-12 season in 2020. His last season with the Texans, he played all 16 games, had a 70% completion, 4,823 yards, 33 touchdowns, 7 interceptions for a QBR of 63.7. Actually not his best QBR in his career, but still pretty damn good for a 4-12 team, right? Since then, he was suspended in 2021. 2022, he played 6 games. 2023, he played 6 games. 2024, he played 7 games. Somehow, I still don't know how this happened, but in 2023, even in 6 games, he was 5-1. I don't know how that happened because he hasn't even eclipsed 1,150 yards since 2020. Most touchdowns that he's had is 7 in both 2022 and 2023 to 5 interceptions, 4 interceptions, and 3 interceptions. Best QBR he has had since 2020 was 43.7. Not great. That is not a starting caliber kind of statistic right there. And it makes me also think something else because I think kind of lost in this conversation is Andrew Berry's still the GM there. Somehow, after everything that he's done and giving this contract to Deshaun Watson, he's still there. So I'm wondering if this is also not just the coach doing this, but I'm wondering if Andrew Berry might think that his time's up, especially with getting rid of Myles Garrett, starting fresh, starting new. I'm wondering if he's starting Watson for one last gasp before he gets fired. Brian, what do you think on that?
See, I wonder how hot Andrew Berry's seat really is. I think you wouldn't let him spearhead this rebuild. You'd want a fresh, if he was in the hot seat, you wouldn't let him be making these decisions on roster construction based on you've already stripped it down. I think he does have a lot of cachet because he has, in all fairness, the one position he has not drafted well is obviously the quarterback. He's made a lot of really good draft of plays. He's gotten Corey Morris. He got Mason Graham. He got Carson Schlesinger, guy who just won Rookie of the Year, played on defense. He has an eye for talent, and like you said, the roster surrounding the team is really good. Like, but they have a trio of wide receivers who are pretty exciting with Casey Concepcion, Denzel Boston, and Isaiah Bond. Like, you can work with that. Like those are three differentiating skill sets for a quarterback, and you can be very productive utilizing those guys at different levels of the field. Like, Casey can be your gadget guy at the back and do your almost your Shakir. Isaiah Barnes, your deep take top on defense. Like Denzel Boston's your over the middle type of guy. Like, he's got a good eye for talent. I don't really think he's on the hot seat. I think he was kind of forced into this decision with Deshaun originally by Jimmy Haslam. I don't know how much ability I would actually give Andrew Berry in that situation. Because I think if Andrew Berry was to be fired, he'd be picked up immediately by another team because he does draft well. He does, sign good free agents to like really friendly deals. Like, he's a very smart individual who's very high regarded in the NFL circle. So I do push back a little bit on thinking Andrew Berry's on the hot seat because the major decision that's being held against him wasn't his decision to make.
I mean, I get that, but my counterpoint would be is even if it was Jimmy Haslam pulling the strings on this, he's the reason why there's no more guaranteed contracts, right? We've had quite literally an investigation with the NFLPA and owners who have been colluding against fully guaranteed contracts because of Deshaun Watson. Let's not forget what happened with Lamar Jackson and the rhetoric that was going against a MVP quarterback somehow having no market because they didn't want to give him a fully realized contract. Same thing with the Cardinals and Kyler Murray. Same thing with I believe the Chargers and sorry, I'm blanking, but the quarterback there, right?
Justin Herbert.
Thank you, Justin Herbert. Barry's the reason why this is never going to happen again for any sort of quarterback because of how bad this looks. So maybe he has done well. And look, the Browns haven't been totally irrelevant, right? With Baker Mayfield, they were not that far away from being having the Browns in the AFC Championship game, which is kind of wild to think about. The fact that the Chiefs won that game when Patrick Mahomes had to go out, the Browns were right there to making the championship game, and we could be looking at this team a little bit differently. And even with Kevin Stefanski having a rotation of quarterbacks, getting to 11-5, making the fifth seed in a couple of years ago, there's been talent. There's been a lot of talent, but you as the GM made such a boneheaded decision that you're not going to be able to you put yourself back years because of this. You still owe. I don't know how much he still owed, but he still has all this money that he's guaranteed. And
yeah, I think that cap would be like $86 million to cut him.
That's ridiculous. That's absolutely ridiculous right now. So look, I don't like that he's starting quarterback, but also I don't. There's not a lot of options at this point. And I think as people who root for different teams, but also, I have a friend who's a Browns fan. She has been a long-suffering Browns fan for a very long time. And I think there is something to it that just being able to have some catharsis by booing the shit out of this person. I think that will definitely be helpful. But also, and I threw this out in the group chat. Look, with all the options that you have, if you really want to try to turn a new leaf, why not start Taylor Green? In all honesty, look, if every one of these other quarterbacks have been subpar at best, why not go for someone if you know you're going to lose? If you know you're going to lose, why not just have the person who has the most interesting athletic skills? He's not an Anthony Richardson at this point. We don't know what he's going to turn into, but he's got athletic prowess. He was a lot of fun at Arkansas. If you're going to lose, why not have fun? Why not go with something that is going to be a mystery, right? It's like that Family Guy bit, right? A boat is a boat. but a mystery box could be anything. It could even be a boat.
Mm-hmm.
Go with Taylor Green. If you're going to potentially have to draft early next year anyways, and the quarterback class is stacked, have fun. We don't want to be reminded of all the bad decisions that you've made. I don't know, Jay. What are your thoughts on Barry and maybe some Taylor Green in there?
They have nothing. They literally have nothing else to lose. They could go. They could throw us out there at quarterback. It wouldn't change anything. Like it's the Cleveland Browns they are the best. They are the best team to have no expectations for. Right? If you think like, hey, Shedeur Sanders might be good at football, throw him out there. If you say, hey, Dylan Gabriel might be good at football, throw him out there. Like, I'm at the point now with this team where they can do whatever because they did beat my Packers last year, which is kind of upsetting. But that's besides the point. No one, they're not going to the playoffs. No, their fans don't even want to be in the building. They're only in the headlines when they make trades and when they decide to start a quarterback, and everyone has a visceral reaction. And we're talking about it to open up a show because, like, I just felt like whatever decision they were going to make, it was going to be, okay, let's see what happens. But at least this one, we already know, at least most people who have like a brain are going to say he shouldn't even be in the league, in my opinion. That's just where I stand for. I don't think anyone would want to employ that type of person. But I think if you look at it from the GM side, I think there's a little bit of like, I'm kind of there with Ryan because not even that he gives you the best chance to compete. It's just like, okay, if I'm gonna have to reset this team anyway next year, if I'm gonna have to look for a new quarterback anyway next year, let's just go down swinging. But I don't know. I don't realistically think there's any real expectations for the Cleveland Browns. They can rotate quarterbacks every quarter, and it really wouldn't matter. Honestly, I think that's what you do. You just play it like a JV football team and just rotate quarterbacks every 2 games and see what happens because. Like it's just bad. I think it's just bad management. I think it's malpractice, and I think that is unfair to a bunch of other guys that could be playing on actual roster right now. And I was talking to the one of my friends about this earlier, and I was like, even if Deshaun Watson is a free agent, what teams need quarterbacks? Who's going to go in and play him? Like. There's a lot of other younger guys that you're more comfortable saying, okay, yeah, I'm gonna sit like Arizona. That's probably like the only team that comes to mind. But I like Jacoby there, and they have Carson Beck. So I was like, why would they do that? So it's just I just think they were in a bad position. They had to make a decision, and they made it. And like now they got to live with it. I think by week 8 there will be a new quarterback. By week 12 there will be a new quarterback. By week 16 there will be a new quarterback. I just think they're going to be that bad. It's not going to matter.
I mean, there's another team, but I don't think they would even go for it. We've talked about them a lot. Is Deshaun Watson even better than Tua and Penix at this point? If the Falcons let him in,
yeah.
Atlanta was one of the finalists that were trying to acquire him from the Texans originally.
Yep. Yeah.
Do they finally get a chance to bring him home to his hometown area? Even I don't think the Falcons would be that desperate.
No,
like I'd rather Tua. I'd rather Tua. I'd rather Penix, and it's really not even that close.
Yeah.
And I'll say this: just give the Browns fans something to cheer for.
Right.
Like they're going to be bad. Just give them something to cheer for. And that is Shedeur. Do it. Like it doesn't hurt you. You're going to be bad. Let the fans who are paying to come to that stadium, which is not games are not cheap, especially in this economy. Like give them something to cheer for. Let them have fun with Shedeur. We all know it's going to be a crappy season. Like, don't do this to the Browns. They've been through enough. Like, just throw them about. It's really that simple. It's not a hard concept.
Yeah, and this actually brings me to the next thing. We talked about the micro. I want to talk about the macro because I find the Browns such an interesting case. Now, Jay, you're correct me if I'm wrong, but you're a 2000s baby, right?
2002, yes, sir.
All right, so you weren't alive. Well, here's a question: you knew that the Browns were a team prior to 1999, correct?
Yes.
But you know that they're not the true Browns. They're actually the Ravens are what the Browns were beforehand. The Browns moved to Baltimore.
In the middle of the night.
Did you know this, Jake?
I did not know.
Their owner moved them literally in the cover of night to Baltimore.
So
straight up.
Cleveland Browns are the Baltimore Ravens.
Yep.
Yes. And the Browns actually, the Browns before 1999 actually were a pretty competitive team. You have teams where where Bernard Kosar is playing against John Elway to make it to the Super Bowl. And if not for the drives, the Browns would have been in the Super Bowl.
In the 80s, the Browns were one of the best teams in the AFC. Them and the Bengals. Believe that. And that's wild. The Bengals and the Browns.
Yeah, that's news
before
to me.
the Super Bowl era. Correct me if I'm wrong, Brian, but I believe they won like
Autogram.
6 or 7 AFC titles.
Yeah, Autogram, I think, won in a span of a decade 8 AFL titles.
Not just Autogram. If you
Like,
know
they have
a running back by the name of Jim Brown, he was on those Browns, right?
Yeah, okay.
I think this brings up a point. Younger generations don't know that the Browns that were the Browns before are not the same Browns as they are right now, right? They stopped production from 1996 to 1998, came back in 99, and we always talk about the quarterback since 99, right? And we'll go through the list right now because there has been a lot of.
I actually want to see what Jay knows who the first quarterback of the new Browns was. He was their first overall pick. Let's see if you know that.
What year was it?
1999.
1999.
He was the first overall draft pick out of Nebraska.
Kentucky.
That's right, Kentucky. Didn't he? I thought he played in Nebraska too, originally.
You're thinking about another one similar name.
Oh yes, that must be correct.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
Oh, you know, all right.
Is
Have you ever heard of a name?
It's someone I should know.
No, go for it, Jake.
You might.
I mean, he's a bust. He's considered a bust. But his name is Tim Couch.
Yeah. That name sound familiar?
Yeah, I know Tim Couch.
Yeah. Yep.
Oh, that's so unfortunate.
Yeah, so the list of quarterbacks, right? We have Tim Couch, Ty Detmer, Doug Peterson, Spurgeon Wynn, Kelly Holcomb, Jeff Garcia, Luke McCann.
Shout out legend Kelly Holcomb. Shout out Kelly Holcomb, legend Kelly Holcomb, who started a playoff game for them. Derek Anderson started a playoff game for them.
Yep.
Kelly Holcomb had like a 450-yard game.
No, Derek Anderson did not start a play. No, because remember that was the 11-5 year that they.
That's right. Missed out. Yeah. I was going to say Kelly Holcomb had a 450-yard passing game in the playoffs. How about that?
So Derek Anderson, Brady Quinn, Ken Dorsey, Bruce Krakowski, Colt McCoy, Jake Dillon, Seneca Wallace, Brandon Whedon. You should know Seneca Wallace, Jay. I believe he was a starting quarterback for the Packers at some point. Or what's it, the Seahawks?
It was the Seahawks.
Yeah.
It was the Seahawks.
Colt McCoy was the starter at one point for Green Bay.
Yeah. Seneca Wallace, Brandon Whedon, Thad Lewis, Bill's
legend.
Campbell, yep, out of Duke. Jason Campbell, Brian Hoyer, Johnny Manziel, Connor Shaw, Austin Davis, RG3, Cody Kessler, Josh McCown, Deshaun Kaiser, Kevin Hogan, Baker Mayfield, Tyrod Taylor, Case Keenum, Nick Mullins, Jacoby Brissett, Deshaun Watson, Joe Flacco, DTR, PJ Walker, Jeff Driscoll, Jameis Winston, Bailey Zappi, Shedeur Sanders, Dylan Gabriel. The list is incredible, right? So we talk about that, but we also don't talk about the number of coaches that they've been through and the number of GMs, right? Because it's not as many, but it's pretty dang close. You have Chris Palmer, you have Butch Davis, Terry Robisky, Romeo Cornell, Eric Mangini, Pat Shermer, Rod Chudzinski, Mike Pettin, Hugh Jackson, Greg Williams, Freddie Kitchens, Kevin Stefanski, and now Todd Monken. And then there's another 10 names in terms of GMs that they've been through since 1999. Dwight Clark, Butch Davis, Phil Savage, George Colkinis, Tom Hecker Jr., Michael Lombardi. I don't know why they did that. Ray Farmer, Sashi Brown. God, what a name. John Dorsey, when they really thought that they were able to take someone from the Chiefs to make everything better. And now Andrew Barry. And I guess this goes to a macro point, right? Because this is a league that should be competitive. Every team should be competitive, right? It's basically it's turned into that way, right? That there aren't always a lot of great teams. There's a lot of good teams that like fall in between. Let's go 7-20, right? The 7th best team, the 20th best team could probably beat each other on any given day. But it always seems like, other than the Jets, which they've had their rough streak, but even the Jets have had a prolonged period of success in 2010, right, where they went to back-to-back AFC Championship games. The Cardinals have been to the Super Bowl, and they've had some really good teams too. The Lions have had some sustained success. The Bills, after 18 years of missing the playoffs, have had sustained success. Honestly, the Jags, that's probably the closest team to the Browns where it's like some success, not much else. But the Browns are in their own category. I believe the Browns still have yet or just won their first ever home opener. First ever opening game of the season. There's a stat, Jay, that the Browns had never won the new Browns had never won an opening game of the season. They had tied, but they had never won.
I think there's also a stat that they've never gone 2-0 to start a season as a new round,
which is wild. And I guess that leads me to look. I understand that we talk about curses, but let's get scientific here, right? Mm-hmm. Other than curses, how is it that they always are in this situation where they're moving between a quarterback or a coach or GM and nothing changes? I'll open the floor to whoever wants to start on that one.
It's got to be poor ownership. Only thing that makes sense to me at that point.
Ownership it starts from the head down. Bad ownership, which leads to bad hiring of GMs, which leads to bad hiring of coaches, which leads to the GM not being able to identify talent, which leads to a head coach having nothing to work with, who then gets the raw end of the deal because he can't coach his players up to be productive. Like Kyle's touched on before, like this was a very respected franchise for 50 years. 50 years. Leaving Cleveland and then coming back should not have affected it this much. Like you have to think in 27 years you think you'd have more than 2 winning seasons. I think that's what they're at, 2 winning seasons or 3 winning seasons, something like that. Like it's almost unfathomable in the way the NFL is structured, where you have teams going from worst to first in divisions every single year. But the Browns have not stumbled into more than one playoff win in 27 years. Like it goes deeper than just the whole organization. Like it's once an organization gets a stench like that, it just permeates through everything. The fans are dismayed at having to root for the Browns. Like I think it's just and that stench lasts until you strip it down to pretty much nothing. And Jimmy Haslam is definitely in over his head as an owner. I think because he's overreaching in aspects that Jerry Jones has, but Jerry Jones has titles to back it up where he can justify, overreaching and, taking on more responsibilities. Like, I think if the Browns are ever to be anything more than a laughingstock in the NFL, I think it just needs an absolute clean slate down to the foundation. And that's head coach, GM, ownership, and even burn down that stadium, because that stadium's got some stank to it. They're getting a new one in a couple of years, which is really cool. But I think, man, it's a whole organizational failure from top to bottom.
They haven't even the best that they have ever done in the NFC North is second. They've never won an AFC North title since they came back in 1999.
Wow.
And yeah, they've only had 1, 2, 3, 4 winning seasons since 1999. And look, Haslam is a big part of it, but also he's only been there since 2012. So it's wild because this shouldn't be happening. Like at some point, you should be able to look into at least a little bit of sustained success. Kevin Stefanski, arguably their best coach since '99. Would we say that?
By head and shoulders.
He got them to the playoffs twice, and
what a playoff game!
Yeah, and you could argue that he should still be there with the Browns at this point.
Well,
but
technically didn't win the playoff game because he had COVID. So, but that's despite
that's true. We actually don't know if he's good in the playoffs.
Yeah,
but it's. I mean, it's fascinating. Like I remember talking to Frankie about this when the Patriots started. When they started having their issues, right, over the last, and they only had it for like 4 or 5 years. But like this idea that for the Patriots that like you'll have a couple of bad seasons and then you'll get right back at it. I was like, no, like, do you see what the Browns do? Because it's very easy to go from quarterback is the problem to coach is the problem to the GM is the problem. We saw it with the Bills. Ryan, how many coaches did we go through between 1999 and before we got Sean McDermott?
Do we have enough time on the show to name them all the GMs as well? Because man, there's a fun cast of characters there. My personal favorite is Chan Gailey, or Dick Duran, but like some pretty interesting names. Skeletor. Shout out Doug Marrone.
Yep. Doug Marrone.
Yeah.
It happens. Like you can trip, fall, and then all of a sudden you're. I mean, look at the Jets. You trip and fall, and because you get the one thing wrong continuously, and it just messes up everything, right? Mm-hmm. I would say with the Jets that Robert Saleh is not a bad coach. I don't think he was a bad coach. I don't think he was the problem, but he had Zach Wilson, and then he had to deal with Aaron Rodgers, who got hurt right at the beginning of the year. And then all of a sudden you have to put Zach Wilson back out, and now you look bad because you don't have a quarterback to rely on. Yep. Even with, let's just say any one of these Cleveland quarterbacks does well this year, everyone said that Tom Buchan was not the right answer at coach. Everyone was very what is this hire, right? In a offseason where there was so many different options to choose from. And a lot of people feeling like they got everything right, like Jesse Minter with the Ravens or Clint Kubiak with the Raiders, right? They feel like they've done something correct. Even Harbaugh with the Giants, are the Giants going to be good? We don't know, but they feel like they got a home run hit. And then you get this guy who is a coordinator with Georgia, cool. Georgia's been great. But we have no idea who this person is. So it could easily just be that now both things are happening. You don't have a good quarterback, and you might not actually have a good coach. Yeah, Ryan.
I will push back a little bit on Tom Buchan. I think you're discounting him a little bit. The way he was able to develop Lamar as a passer in the last 3 years working with him as the OC, he's done a lot of good things in Baltimore with a receiving core that we all think is not outstanding outside of Zay Flowers. We don't really know how good Zay Flowers is. I think a lot of Lamar's development passer is due to Todd Monken. And, he has been a name in the coaching carousel in terms of the offseason for a couple of years now. I definitely think we're discounting how good or how not good you think he is. I think Monken, given the right cast and the right situation, I think could be a pretty successful NFL quarterback. Sorry, not quarterback, coach. I think he'd be a successful coach.
All right. So let's let's throw it out here. A quick way to end this particular part of the Brown segment. It feels like this isn't. I think it's easy to say that this isn't the year. They're not going to make the playoffs. It's going to be. Look, I see a lot of teams that can potentially make the playoffs. I don't think the Browns are going to be one, even with the offensive talent that they look like that they have. The defensive spots, like there's still some cohesive roster in here, but also we forget that Jeff Schwartz is no longer there, right? He was honestly, if I was the Browns, I would have hired him as the head coach instead of Todd Monken. But it is what it is, right? Something's going to happen this offseason. We know that. So, question here is, what do you think is most likely going to happen? The GM's going to get let go. Todd Monken's going to be a one-and-done head coach. Or the trio of Watson, Shador, and Gabriel are all off the team by the end of the year.
Oh, if any of those, and I don't think any of them particularly are going to happen. I think they brought Monken in for more than 1 year. It's not like a David Colley situation. Like Monken has like legitimate NFL buzz about being a head coach. So like I don't think he's going to be one and done. And I don't think Andrew Berry is going to be like, because I think that he's in this for the long haul in terms of seeing this rebuild through. I think Jimmy Haslam is going to keep him. And I think Shador is going to stay on the roster as the backup. I think he'll be the long-term backup in Cleveland if he pans out well. So, I mean, if I had to pick one, probably all three quarterbacks being off the roster. But I just don't think likely that any of those are going to happen because I think there are parts of each one that have merits for sticking around, especially like Shador is like a long-term backup if he shows anything during this regular season. And the Browns are as bad as we think they're going to be.
Now, Jay, before you go on that, I will say, though, do we really think Shador is going to be fine staying as a backup quarterback? Now, something that was brought up real quick on Dan Le Batard, which is interesting to think about, is the only person who has actually given Shador a chance to be a starting quarterback was his dad. Kevin Stefanski didn't want that. It looks like Todd Monken doesn't want that. So... and with the whole entire league passing over him multiple times in a very thin quarterback class a couple of years ago, I like to think that he might see the writing on the wall, but we also see it doesn't seem like Shador thinks that. So I don't know if he's going to be willing to stay as a backup anywhere that he goes. But Jay, out of the three choices, what do you think is the most likely going to happen?
I think the GM most likely to me is gone. I don't think I don't really know if firing unless someone insane becomes available, and I don't even know who wants to coach the Cleveland Browns anymore. I don't think firing your coach every year is going to really solve the problem you have because I think we identified it's a top-down issue. You need to employ the right people. And I always feel like, you're probably going to have a starting quarterback next year anyway. You might as well at least keep some familiar faces in the building unless they just wipe the slate clean, because I believe this is Deshaun Watson's last year on his contract. I guess, it wouldn't cost anything to get rid of either Dylan Gabriel or Shador, but I just think what makes sense to me is you have to get the right culture in the building and then go from there. You realistically don't know what you have in either of those two, in Dylan Gabriel or Shador. You know what you have in Deshaun, and I don't imagine they extend him. I would be shocked if they did that. So assuming that they just kind of pick one of those two, I think that makes sense. Unless again, there's a crazy influx on the quarterback market, or they end up getting their guy in the first round, probably being at least one of the top 5 picks. So I don't know. I just think you go with your GM and you go from there, try and build another somewhat. I don't think that the base of this team is bad. I just think that they just need the right personnel in the building to actually make it competitive. And that also starts at the quarterback position. So maybe you guys have to wipe that slate clean. I don't know. Now that you've mentioned, maybe they do fly all the quarterbacks out. Maybe they do just say, "Hey, we're gonna go with somebody new." I don't think that's. I just think that's harder to rebuild around. I think that you just go with the GM and go from there.
Yeah, it's a tough decision. I do not envy the Browns whatsoever. As a long suffering Bills fan in multiple different ways, I am a very appreciative of our brethren around the Midwest. Also, there just a hypothetical out there. Not saying it's going to happen, but Belichick hasn't looked good in North Carolina, and they have TCU on the docket starting the season, who blasted them last year. Who's to say he stays in North Carolina? And
he's not going back
to say that the Browns aren't interested.
He's not having a return to I did want to ask one thing.
Yeah.
I want to ask if I think we're going to be pivoting from the NFL after this topic. I would assume I'm going to college football for this, potentially.
Well, I was actually going to throw out real quick, but unless you have something Browns related, but
it's not Browns related, but it's NFL related.
Yeah, so I was going to say let's do some quick takeaways from the last week or so in terms of NFL preseason. Any updates that catch your eye? Any teams that are looking good? Any worries that you're seeing? Maybe from other teams or your own? Well, the floor is yours, guys, for anything else you want to throw out that way.
Well, first, before I answer that question, I want to ask Matt. I want to ask Jay, what do you think of the Packers rivalry jersey?
I like them. I actually like them. He did something that was cool. You know what's funny is before they came out, I said we never have like a neutral color jersey. Like we just do white. Like white's just like everybody has white. But we don't have like a black or we don't have like a gray or anything like that. So I'm like, maybe they'll do something cool and they'll actually do like kind of like a gray. It's a grayish green. I'm like, cool. They actually did something.
I like it.
Right. It's fun. Some people don't like it. But I think it kind of sticks to like that Green Bay tradition. Mm-hmm. I'm glad they didn't do like a full solid gray, even though I would like to see that look like kind of like a Detroit Lions jersey, how they have their full gray ones. But I like the feel of it. And I just hope that they actually wear them because the same thing that they did with the winter warning jerseys from last year, the all white ones, like they wore them twice.
Yeah.
I understand you like wearing the green and gold, but come on, man, let's have some fun. It's 2026. I like the tradition, but we can at least I feel it has that traditional feel to it, but it's also, today's kind of like look with it. I like
modernized, which is nice.
Yeah, the accents looks cool. The helmet's nice. I'm excited.
Are you gonna pick up a jersey?
I need to get a couple. I missed out because they had the dark green ones from a couple years ago that looked like the Oregon Ducks jersey.
Yeah,
I wanted one of those. I don't know if
those were nice.
Right. I wanted one of those. But all the jerseys, I only have like an Aaron Rodgers jersey and
you gotta update that.
I need to get something new. So, yeah, I'm gonna have to look and see. But I might do either one of those winter warning ones, the all white, probably get like a Jordan Love jersey, or if I do the new grayish green ones, the rivalry jerseys, I don't even know who I'd get in that. Maybe I'll do Matthew Golden in that. That would be kind of.
I was gonna say I think Golden fits that jersey. That was the first thing that came to mind.
Right. So maybe I'll have to look into that. I'll be right back.
I was going. No, well, let's.
He's getting his jersey, I think.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll just say the Bills looked good in preseason. There's some injuries they're dealing with. Shakir is dealing with an injury. We have no idea what's going on. Brady won't comment on the injury, so we don't know if Shakir is going to play week 1, which will be a tough task going against Houston with no Khalil Shakir.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Teams that looked good overall in the preseason. Denver looked good. I didn't watch it too much, but I heard that New England looked pretty good in their first couple of preseason games, which is unfortunate to hear. Cade Klubnik apparently balled out in the preseason game for the Jets, so Cade Klubnik season coming up. But I think I kind of want to shift my focus to one specific team that had maybe the worst preseason in a while. And it's a team that that I've been kind of championing as potentially number one overall pick team this year. That's the Atlanta Falcons. They've just had a miserable offseason minicamp and 11-on-11 practices and their 2 preseason games. They look just so lost on everything. Tua clearly doesn't have anything left. It's so obvious to watch him. Even on 11-on-11 drills, he just looks lost out there. He has no zip on his ball. He never had the most zip to begin with, but like it's worse than it's ever been. His decision making still looks as poor as it's always been. The Atlanta defense has literally nobody. They have no depth. Like I know I said it, but I think Atlanta's in a lot of trouble this year. Like a lot of trouble.
Look, they have Bijan, and I ride with Bijan. I think he'll have an incredible year. I think they'll have an incredible year as they eke out the number 2 pick. I think they're going to have just enough to get past the number 2 pick. Yeah. Because, man, there are some bad teams this year. Woof. Jay, first, before we get to any Packers things that you might have or any other preseason takes, because we did have a bunch of hot takes last week that were a lot of fun. Since you brought up golden, I'm going to ask, does your jersey gotta be golden?
No. Got a Jaylen Brown.
There we go. Look at that.
I had to get one.
Yeah.
My Packers, they make me angry. I genuinely think like the only take of any attention to the Packers offense last year, it was pretty much non-existent outside of Jordan Love throwing the ball 50 yards down the field, and Josh Jacobs when he was healthy for like 10 weeks. Trace Mack has been like a godsend from what he's just been doing in both preseason and in training camp, just being able to actually make kicks, because Brandon McManus was awful for us last year. I'm blanking. Why am I blanking on his name? I don't know. It's bothering me. I really looked at his Facebook the other day. But Anders Carlson, yes. He drives me too. Anders Carlson is not good at kicking anything, honestly. Like, they haven't had good kicking since Crosby?
Yeah, probably Crosby. Yeah, probably Crosby.
So, you know, what, 6-7 years ago? So it's nice to actually have good, consistent kicking. Defensively, I think they're going to be moving away from Keyshawn Nixon, hopefully, because he's not good. They went and
he was a Pro Bowler last year, though.
Everybody's a Pro Bowler.
Speaking of which,
Shedeur Sanders was a Pro Bowler.
I was going to say, speaking of which, the NFL is going away from a Pro Bowl.
It's gone.
Thank God.
Yeah, that was bad. But yeah, Keyshawn Nixon, I think, he's been running a lot of the threes in practice. So I'm hoping that that's going to be like the standard for him. Brandon Cisse, their 2nd round draft pick, their first pick of last year's draft. Matt's here.
What's up, guys?
Hey, man.
Going on, Matt.
Oh man, the sports season is here, but in a good way and in a not good way. The good way in the sense of like, I'm not unenjoying anything I'm doing, but not in the good way in the sense of like, I'm also like, oh God, there's this to do, this to do, this to do.
Yep.
I enjoy it, but it's just kind of like, I guess this also means I like cigarettes put out on me during sex too. I don't know.
Hey, whatever floats your boat.
Yeah. Well, Matt, we're just about finishing the NFL portion of the show. I was going to ask you something real quick, but then I did want to get any opinions that you had on the whole Deshaun Watson thing or any other NFL takes that you have. But Jay, real quick, how are you feeling about the wide receiver position, especially with Dobbs and Wicks gone?
I feel like right now, because they didn't really do anything in the offseason with receivers, it's pretty much stay healthy and go from there. Jaden Reed, Christian Watson are going to be the focal guys in that offense. I think Matthew Jones is going to have a very solid role. He's going to actually get the ball. He didn't get it a lot this past regular season. And then also, like, ended up finding his way in the end zone in the playoffs. So, like, he's a great player in my opinion. It's just you got to get him the ball. But I also think it's going to be a very run heavy team like they always have been, and they're going to try and play off that play action. But I would have liked if they got some more depth at receiver. Maybe they still do. I mean, Savion Williams is going to get a little bit of burn as well. And Bill Melton, who was actually our cornerback last year, he moved from wide receiver to corner, is moving back to wide receiver now.
Oh my God!
They might as well put us out there. Like that's where we're at. But at least with the main three, I'm excited to see what they actually put out on the field this year for their offense.
And what's up with the Jacob situation? Is he with the team right now, or?
So he has not been practicing. But
Josh Jacobs hasn't been practicing.
Yeah. So it's pretty ambiguous on what he's actually hurt with, or if it's more like we're trying to monitor his whole allegation situation.
Wait,
yeah.
What did he do?
If you haven't heard,
domestic violence.
Yeah, he's low key facing felony.
Good for him. Good Lord.
Yeah, he's facing.
That's
felony.
a joke for the record.
And it didn't look great back in July. I've not heard much from it since. I'm still anticipating there's going to be some sort of suspension, but it's kind of not been the player that since like the actual allegations were filed. So we don't really know. The last thing that came from like Josh Jacobs in his camp was that they had evidence proving his innocence, and then it just kind of went quiet from there. So I don't really know what's going on. I do have a report though. Marshawn Lloyd is healthy, so we will see Marshawn Lloyd this year after being hurt seasons. But I don't know what's happening with Josh Jacobs, but he has not been active during training camp.
Gotcha. And you guys don't have Quadzilla anymore, so that's also a shame.
Not getting Micah back until week 6, most likely at the end.
Has Kyle been lagging the whole show?
No.
I don't know.
Not really.
I don't think so.
I just heard it lag for a second there, and I'm like, oh my God! If they were delayed,
You just want me to fail, don't you? Don't you, Matt?
Yeah.
I don't ever want you to fail, Kyle. But like, I'm not gonna not laugh. Kyle, let me rephrase it. Let me put it to you like this in a way that I know for a fact you'll understand.
Uh-huh.
You laugh at me when I fall off the stage. You should laugh at me when I fall off the stage in midsummer. I'm gonna laugh if
I do have a.
That's what you do. That's what you do. So for Jay and Ryan, when Kyle and I were at UMass and I was still an actor, I was in our production of Midsummer Night's Dream as Snug the Joiner. He plays the lion in the play within the play, and I fell off the stage not once but also twice.
Oh my God!
And it was during a show. I played it off like it didn't ruin the show. It didn't take away from the show. No one stopped. Like it was like looking back on it, it was very on it. Like it was very sincerely handled pretty professionally. Minus the falling off the stage though. That was not professional. But
he's also bearing the lead on something because it wasn't twice in one show. It was one time in two different shows.
Yeah, and one time I tripped and face planted on the stage, and then the second time I actually fell off the stage, and I could not believe I fell off the stage. The second time when I fell off the stage, I was on the ground and just going through my head, I was just I was just sitting there being like, what the fuck just happened? I was like, how is everyone so much higher than me?
But also the best part about this is because I saw it the first time it happened, and then one of our best friends, Jeff. Yeah, I think I was there the first time it happened because I remember this because one of our best friends, Jeff, came to the show for the second time specifically because he wanted to see Matt fall off the stage.
No, Jeff didn't get to see me fall. I remember because he yelled at me afterwards. Yeah, I only remember that specifically because he yelled at me afterwards. He said, "God damn it, Matt, you were supposed to fall off the stage." Because before the show, he said, Matt, because we were roommates at the time, he said, Matt, if you don't fall off the stage, don't bother coming home.
That's amazing.
So, did you fall on purpose?
No, I tripped.
How'd you fall?
So the first time, so the way the stage was set up, we had a triangular stage. So, well, not a triangular stage. Like the front of the stage, like had like a point going out, like a pyramid into the audience, and there was three like not quarter pillars, but like it was like sawed off pillars. It was supposed to look like ancient Greece. It was kind of like if Greece was like post World War II Greece. That's where like it was set in bullshit like that. And so it was part of the set. I was also wearing heavy steel-toed boots. And when I do my big monologue, I do a big jump and roar because I'm a lion and I'm scary. And so every time I jump over the pillar, the time I face planted, I go to jump over the pillar, and I literally feel the big toe of my boot hit the pillar, and I literally did a penguin slide.
That's incredible.
So then so then
Oh my gosh.
I'm doing my monologue, and at one point in the monologue, because my monologue is to the audience, and they're also the audience, but they're behind me and stuff like that, facing outwards. Theater, fucking use your brain. So they're facing me and they're looking at me. I have to turn around at some point and look at them too. So I turn around and I look at them, and they are all trying not to die. Like they are all just like it's a combination of did he just fall, and also I'm about to die laughing. Matt face planted on the stage. So
That's awesome.
So that was the
That's
first
fantastic.
time. So that's the first time. The second time I was before I like jumped over the pillar and stuff like that, I would pretend to like hype myself up for the monologue, because like the plot of like these characters is if they don't do this play well, they're going to be put to death.
Right.
So real fucking cheery. This is a comedy, by the way. But I would like hop back and forth kind of like a wrestler before they go to the ring, like get myself hyped up. I hop to the left, I'm on the stage. I hop to the right, my foot is not on the stage.
Oh my god, that's too funny.
And then I am also not on the stage. So then that one's actually even funnier too, because every time my part was over, I get dragged off stage, and one of them was, and it was always by my friend Dan. And the second time, I full blown I full blown fell off the stage, not on, off. So Dan brought me back because again, I turn around and they're all trying not to like cry laughing, like because they're just like because they know something happened, they don't know what though. Some of them though did see me because my friend Dan dragged me off, and as he dragged me off and he brought me into the green room, he goes, "Matt, did you fall off the stage?" And I was like, yeah. and I was like, yeah. And like they both went into the green room and they burst out laughing. They were like, "Matt fell off the stage again."
That's awful. Oh man.
Yeah. Yeah.
How many people were in the audience to see it?
Both nights I think it was.
Oh, there's a decent amount.
No, both. Yeah.
Damn.
No, both nights it was like 400.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's significant.
I ain't give a shit about that. Like in the moment, I was like, "That sucks," but like, also like, I play like a jerpy character, so like, oh, believe me, I don't give. I don't like. I don't know what it is. I think it's just because like it's a play, and I know it's not real. Like, I don't have shame in instances like that. I don't care. Not fucking real. They don't know I fucked up. I hit it. My friends all knew I fucked up, and they made fun of me for it.
That's funny. That's a fun moment.
I wish I was there to see it.
Dude,
I wish.
I wish there was tape of it. It was funny. That was one of my better moments.
Kyle, I have a question. Did we want to touch on the Jed York situation?
Oh, well, we can do that in 1 second. But I did want to, because this has been a really big topic, and Matt hasn't had any thoughts on this yet. Matt, do you have anything that you want to talk about with the whole Cleveland Browns situation?
I'm lucky that I'm a Jets fan. No, like it. So I think Deshaun Watson being named the starter. Comments aside, because I don't have much to say about that. But I do have something to say about that. But comments aside, I think that Watson being named starter shows two things. I know that he's been bad, and I know that supposedly Shadur has been maybe better, but also like Shadur is not good. He's not, and neither is Dylan Gabriel. If either one of the and Dylan Gabriel is mobile, and like Todd Monken likes it when quarterbacks are mobile. So like, if like Todd Monken isn't starting an undersized mobile quarterback, and instead he's starting a predator at QB with a bum Achilles, I think that shows you how bad Gabriel and Shadur are, and I think it shows you how bad people are drafting them. Because I also think that was still the Andrew Berry regime. I don't think they had fired him or Stefanski yet.
They're still there.
Barry's still there.
Jesus Christ! But like, those were the same people that look. I don't care what people say about like his contract dispute right now. They hit on Baker, and they told him to kick the bricks. And since then, Baker, I think, except for maybe one season, has only made the playoffs. And like, if they're not making the playoffs, they're competitive. And if they're missing the playoffs, it's not because of him, So like, I think it just shows you that they hit on a quarterback. They made a mistake. This guy, not only was he snake oil, he also then became busted snake oil. So it's snake oil with a dent. And then on top of that, you're still starting him 5 years after all of that. He's had, was it 2 Achilles tears, or was it like, I don't remember what it was, but he's literally had 2 season-ending injuries with the Browns. I think he maybe had one good game, and I'm not trying to be facetious with that. And they still chose him to start. I think it shows you how bad the quarterback room is there. I think it shows you how bad the personnel decisions have been made there since Baker left. And I'm not saying it's like the curse of Baker or anything like that, but I think it just shows you that, like, damn, they really screwed up. And like, they clearly think he's the best. Like, I'm not saying Todd Monken's going to be a good head coach. I don't. I think he's probably going to be a one and done, which sucks, because I do think he is a good offensive coordinator. I do. And I think he's good with quarterbacks. I don't think he's a quarterback whisperer, but I do think he's one of those OCs that does know how to play with quarterbacks and different skill sets, as well as get the running back involved in things of that nature. So, like, I don't think it's purely self-preservation, like Jonathan Zaslow said on the Levitard show a couple of days ago. Like, I do think he probably has, to a degree, a good eye, and I think he has an eye experienced enough to know that he ain't gonna win with Shadur, he ain't gonna win with Gabriel. Like, Gabriel or Shadur will come in, they'll start 2-1 when they come in, not like overall in the season. When Shadur or Gabriel comes in, they'll go 2-1, and then they'll be poopy boo boopy, and they'll go back to being mediocre. And, I don't think they're going to fix it. Like, I don't think they're going to fix it. I think they're going to fire Monken. I think they're going to get out of Watson's contract. I think they'll release him after this year. I don't know if he'll last the season, but I don't think they're going to release him right away. But like, I think this is the actual last year of him in Cleveland. But like, I still think Cleveland is screwed for like 3 more years because like like I know it's like past the years, but like they burned so many assets, and like as they burned like the assets and spent so much money, they also burned bridges, and like Miles Garrett fucked off, and like that's huge. I don't think that's anything to like look past, and he got paid on the way out too. Like he fucking like he got paid on the way out, which is crazy. So like literally like I thank God I'm a Jets fan when I look at the Browns because like if it weren't for the Browns, all of these thoughts would be going towards the Jets. They absolutely would. Not the Cardinals, not even the Raiders. It'd be going towards the Jets. Uh like I think they're just so screwed, man. Like I think they're like really screwed unless someone decides to take a bet on the Browns. Like I think the Browns are going to fire Munkin. I think they're going to get out from Deshaun while also having to pay him. I think they're going to blow it up, try anew. I think they're going to get a top 3 pick. And they'll try with one of the new shiny QBs. Shadur will probably stay around, and there'll be a bullshit QB controversy between him and the shiny new QB, who will probably be Dante Moore or Arch Manning. Ooh, that would be so sad. Oh man, could you imagine if we have another Phillip Rivers Manning situation? Oh God, please let that happen. I'm putting that in the universe. Digressing though. Digressing because the ADHD meds are not that strong at the moment. I'm very tired. But I just think that this move just shows like I know I'm yammering, hence the name, and I know that like I've like gone on different routes. Like my overall.
Oh, you did? Okay, I haven't seen that.
What I'm trying to illustrate and like what I'm trying to say is that like I think the Browns, like even past getting rid of Watson, are so butt fucked. Like I think they are so screwed. And I'm not even saying that for swears and LOLs. Like I just think at the core they are cooked. They're really cooked. I think they burned any goodwill. And like I just don't know. Like guys, like Todd Monken's their head coach, and he was hired well after other less needy. He was hired well after they hired him well after less head coach needy teams hired their head coach. Like they are cooked. They are so cooked. Like I think they're cooked until Haslam sells the team. I think they're cooked. I don't think private equity is going to save them. I don't think a Saudi sugar daddy is going to save them. I think until Haslam's name is not on I think until Haslam's name is not on the Browns, I just think they are forever cooked. And like I don't see how anyone can view them other than that. Like I really don't. And I'm saying that as a Jets fan, man. The Jets are almost forever cooked. We're almost forever cooked. That's my future, dude. I don't want that. And like forever cooked means like a 3 to 5 year window. But like 3 to 5 years, like, dude, they're cooked. They're cooked unless someone takes a bet on them. Unless they can like beg Mike Tomlin to betray Pittsburgh and like go to them to like bring stability. Like they need someone to they might have to call Gruden.
Oh God. But like right, I do see your finger real quick. But real quick, Matt. First off, we were talking about this. Haslam's only been there since 2012. So even with him being as bad as he is, there was 13 other years of the Browns not doing anything, right? So it is wild to think that it's not just been GM, it's not just been coach, it's not just been quarterback, it's been everything, and nothing has worked, right? Like, yes, the Jets have been like a doormat for about 15 years now, but at the same time, at least before that, there was back-to-back AFC championship games, right? The Browns have not had that sustained success since 1999, which is that's wild to see just how far it's fallen off. And you say like the small things, right? Like a small thing is you pissed off Jeff Schwartz. you should have given him the coaching position, right? And Jeff Schwartz is not there. They were a ranked number one defense or top defense for a couple of years now. It's probably the reason why they made it to the playoffs a couple of years ago. And now your defensive coordinator is Mike Ruttenberg. I looked it up. He was the passing defensive coordinator for the Falcons. You went from someone who was a bona fide defensive coordinator star to someone who has been on a lousy defensive team like the Falcons over the last couple of years. So this is what you did to yourself because you decided to go after this guy instead of going in-house for somebody who clearly wanted that job and rightfully deserved that job. But Ryan, I did see your finger.
I just wanted to touch on 2 points that I brought up. The first one is they won't cut him outright right away because if they designate him a post-June 1st cut, they can spread out that $86 million dead cap over 2 years. So it won't be till after June 1st that they do cut him when they eventually do. And 2 is that Mike Tomlin will not come to the Browns because I don't know if anybody heard, but there was a little birdie who made a comment that the Jets are laying the groundwork to get Mike Tomlin next year.
Yeah, and they're also laying the groundwork to potentially trade for Lamar Jackson, which tells me 2 things. A, it's a bullshit report. And then B, if it is true, that's not a good thing because that tells me 2 things. No, it tells me 1 thing. I don't know why I said 2. It tells me 1 thing. And Kyle, I told it to you in Instagram. And that is, he's cooked. If he's coming to the Jets and they're willing to part with him, that means he's cooked. He was drafted the same year as
not see that
Darnold.
one yet. Yeah.
He was drafted the same year as Baker and Darnold.
And Josh and other Josh.
Like, come on, man. Like, if he's up for grabs, that means he might. I'm not saying he's teeing off on 18, but like, we might be on the back 9, and someone just didn't tell us. You know, I don't. So like that report. Like, I also. Why would he work with Woody? Like, why? Why would Mike Tomlin work with Woody? Why?
Good question.
Good
question.
Also, maybe not nice question by me. Do I want him as a head coach, man? Because, they never got out of the first round, and their offenses were really, really, really bad. Ever since Ben went kaboomy, he just didn't know whether to shit or wind his watch.
Yeah, I mean, it would be entertaining though. Lamar and Mike Tomlin with the Jets. We've been talking about entertainment.
Kyle, I'm a Jets fan. If that happened,
Content.
I would lose my shit and I would buy a Lamar Jackson jersey. Are you kidding me?
Of course you would.
He would literally be the best quarterback since 2009 Brett Favre for 12 weeks until he got hurt.
Or 2023 Aaron Rodgers before the first game.
What?
2023 Aaron Rodgers until that first game.
After 4 plays.
No, not at all. No,
Yeah.
Rodgers was washed before he got to New York. No, what happened? Okay, we're good. But no, Rodgers was washed before he got to New York. The Packers were just good at hiding him.
He won an MVP 2 years prior, Matthew.
Yeah,
He went back-to-back MVPs.
Yeah, Matthew.
Back-to-back.
Yeah, Matthew.
Yeah, you hit him. That's all right, congrats. He's NFL JJ McCarthy. No, I'm just kidding.
Whoa.
I know.
Damn.
They're hoes. I know. The Jets suck.
That's not even that's not a quarterback no more. We are all fucking love team over here. So.
That's
So we do want to eventually get into the college football stuff, but Ryan, you were bringing up something, so I'll leave the floor for you because it seems like you might know a little bit more than I know of what happened.
Yeah.
I haven't really fully read about this. So
is that Oliver?
No, Jed York. I don't know all the details.
Woods. He's out there getting the boys in the trailer parks.
Matt might know a little more than I do, actually. So I would actually like Matt. You don't know? Okay, yeah. That's my knowledge is pretty much that he got bumped for replying to a message regarding prostitutions, and he got pulled over. He pulled into a trailer park, but the actual ad wasn't for the trailer park. It was for the next spot over. That's what I know. The NFL is now looking into punishing him for his role in responding to a prostitution ad.
Oh, dude, wait. Did you read how much? Did you read how much it cost?
No, I didn't read that. How much did it cost?
Oh, I love.
Oh, I can't wait. Oh, tell me, the $20. Please tell me it was $20.
Close. It was 140.
Oh my God, that's.
Dude, you're a billionaire. I love when they go for the cheap hose. I love it. I don't
just shades of craft all over again.
On this show, we do not discriminate against sex work. Okay, we've covered our bases.
Correct. Yeah,
we've covered our bases. That being said, let's all laugh at the billionaire buying a cheap hooker.
That being said, he's like Sia. He loves cheap thrills.
Dude, for real.
Dude, can we just talk about the offseason the 49ers are having?
Jesus.
Like, my Lord.
That's definitely
something has to be in that thing that they're next to. What are they next to? Chernobyl?
Electrical substation?
Yeah, that thing.
Oh, okay. Not Chernobyl. Okay.
It might as well be Chernobyl at this point.
Yeah.
Like they lose Ricky Pearsall for the year. Friggin' Shanahan gets into a car accident. The Wolf gets bopped for prostitution. Like, could there be a team having a worse offseason than the 49ers?
Dude, I feel like we're gonna find out that Kittles has a third eye.
Yeah, we got something else. A big bombshell coming still.
Oh yeah, we're gonna find out that like McCaffrey grew a tail or some shit like that.
I can't imagine a team having a worse offseason like right now. Like it's so bad. It's so bad.
And yet somehow they're still going to make the playoffs.
I was going to say, what's funny too is they're probably going to be a wild card team.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yep. Which is wild. But you know what also is wild? We actually do have some football, some live real football starting this Saturday, guys. Did you know that the college football season is starting this Saturday? It didn't say
0, baby.
I don't know who the matchups are, but I do know that college football. Wait, no, North Carolina State and
TCU.
That one.
So I got a few of them. So looking at the list, we actually have some decent ones. So starting off on at noon on Saturday, we have UNC and TCU, which is going to be. I mean, but anytime that we can shit on Bill Belichick is going to be fun.
Who's starting for TCU? The name started yet?
That is a good question.
Because losing Josh Hoover.
I'll look that up in a second.
Yeah, because Josh Hoover's in Indiana.
Yeah.
He's like, bye.
Josh Hoover is in.
He's like,
Indiana.
I'm trying to win a Heisman and a Natty.
Yeah. And they go number one overall.
We have a conference game, UVA versus NC State. That one I think is going to be a lot of fun. If anyone doesn't know,
UVA versus NC State. That was supposed to be in Brazil.
Yes, that was supposed to be in Brazil. And there's a fun story behind this one because right now, I believe the starting quarterback for Virginia we know that the Virginia Tech Hokies quarterback is Bo Previlla.
Sit up 3 times fast.
Let me see. The starting quarterback. Well, there's an interesting story. Oh no, sorry. Bo Previlla is starting for Virginia.
Okay.
He used to be a quarterback for Penn State, and he transferred to Missouri because he was behind Drew Aller. And when Virginia Tech, when Franklin went to Virginia Tech, Bo Previlla was interested in going back and was potentially going to do that. But then the quarterback that was at Penn State moved over to Virginia Tech because they found out that he was transferring and was like, okay, Bo Prabula, you can leave. And Bo Prabula decided to go to their rivals, Virginia. So there's going to be some interesting rivalries that are going to be going on because of the whole Penn State situation. Honestly, so actually the other part of this is if Rocco Becht did not go to Penn State, then this wouldn't have happened. But Rocco Becht decided to go and follow Matt Campbell to Penn State. And because of that, this whole entire domino chain happened. And now Bo Prabula is starting for Virginia, which
I love
he's not
that.
a bad
That's
choice.
shit.
Yeah.
That's cool. I like that.
Yeah. It's going to be fun. So and CJ Bailey is also a really good and really interesting quarterback for NC State. So that's probably going to be your best matchup of the season. I mean, not the season, of this week.
I hope it's not the season.
Yeah, but also you get you finally get the starting of North Dakota State, who's going to be playing against Jacksonville State, and you also have Sacramento State, I believe, playing their first.
It's their second year, I think.
Second year?
I think it's their second year.
It's their first year in the MAC. It's their first year.
Their second year.
So you have Sacramento State versus Eastern Michigan. You have a rematch of last.
Yep.
Yeah, Sac State. You get a rematch of last year's opening, which was Hawaii and Stanford, where Hawaii pulled the upset, and Hawaii's supposed to be a pretty good school this year. They could get that Group of 5 bid for the playoffs, but also Stanford's going to be interesting because they have their new coach, and also Andrew Luck is going to be GM there, so it's going to be interesting to see what happens there. You have Memphis UNLV, which I think is going to be
a spicy QB. Like
at Hawaii.
No, at Stanford.
No.
Don't they
No.
He was a backup at Michigan, I believe.
All right,
I will say I'm looking forward to North Dakota State as they are my team on my NCAA 27 rebuild.
Dude, I'm so hyped that they moved up to the big boy league. It'll be very interesting to see what
I
happens.
think they're going to do well. I think they're going to do really well, and I think they're going to be able to recruit really well too.
I think they're going to. I hope they pull a James Madison. I think that'd be a lot of fun.
I think they have the same type of prospects that they could probably pull something like that. Like DJ Scott's a really good running back. He's not talked about, but he's a really, really good running back. And Miles Mitchell, the freshman coming in as a change of pace back, would be really good for them too.
So there's a lot in the other game on the schedule that I think for a lot of sickos that are going to really enjoy is New Mexico State versus Florida State, because we still don't know what Florida State is this year, and it's always fun to just absolutely shit on Mike Norvell for not being a good coach. So I'm
definitely
going to keep an eye on the for FSU. Ashton Daniels is the starter for FSU.
Interesting. Okay.
Yes.
I've never heard more schools that are going to go 7-5 at best tell us who their starters are. Like, my phone has gone off so many times this last week. It's like, so-and-so's named their starter. I'm like, congrats, you're going to go maybe 8-4, dude.
Yeah. I mean, that brings us actually to the top 25 real quick. Well, actually, I'm going to throw it out to the group because we've been talking about a lot of NFL. I want to touch on college, but I know we don't have the most amount of time. Would we rather look at the AP top 25, make some predictions, or look at the Heisman and bring back an old favorite segment of ours?
Heisman.
I don't know who the Heisman favorites are outside of Dante Moore. I know that they say Arch, but is Arch real? I feel like they're just saying that because of the last name. But outside,
I don't think he's not the Heisman favorite.
Oh, he's not good.
It's CJ Carr.
Oh, it's Carr.
So I'm bringing
CJ Carr now. I think it's CJ Carr as the Heisman favorite.
I love that.
Fine. Let's see.
I think there's I think there's a chance CJ Carr could be like a borderline legendary Notre Dame quarterback. I think he's really good. I really like CJ Carr.
I'm never giving up my Sam Levitt love now that he's at LSU.
I have no clue what you just said.
I said I'm never giving up my Sam Levitt love now that he's LSU. It's only skyrocketed because I think he's going to have an amazing season at LSU.
Oh yeah.
All right.
Oh wait,
so,
I think
but
he's going to be
so-
a Heisman candidate. Sorry, we're bouncing around.
Yeah.
No worries, because let's get this under one of our favorite bits from last year, the Mendoza line, because we can bring back the Mendoza line for this, and we'll eventually need the music for that. And if not, because we'll see how Mendoza does, right?
So I'm working. I'm thinking about working on a workaround. I think I'm gonna buy like an external webcam and just hook it up to my work computer, and then that way I'll just do what I did with the Bronx, and I'll just play the sounds like that.
So, for everyone who doesn't know, Alberto Mendoza is at Georgia Tech, which we had Hank Sting last year, who was continuously in the running for the Heisman until probably about the last third of the season. At this point, they are saying that Alberto Mendoza's Heisman odds are actually pretty low, ranging between plus 12,500 to plus 17,500. So it's looking like a pretty big long shot. But in terms of
the house.
Yeah.
Bet the house, baby.
This is based on Fox CFB. The current odds for Heisman Trophy are CJ Carr at plus 700, Arch Manning at plus 750, Dante Moore at plus 1100, Darian Mensah at plus 1150, Julian Sayin at plus 1200, Trinchan Chambliss at plus 1300, Josh Hoover at plus 1300, Jeremiah Smith at plus 1400, Gunnar Stockton at plus 1900, Sam Levitt at plus 2,000, John Mateer at plus 2,500, Jaden Mayava at plus 2,500, and Marcel Reed at plus 2,700. So those are your opening favorites. Now, there's definitely a chance, as Ryan's saying, that we might have to change the name of this from the Mendoza line to Levitt or Levitt, but we'll bridge that gap when we get there. So I'm going to open the floor to you guys. Based on that list, so to go over that again, CJ Carr, our favorites are CJ Carr, Arch Manning, Dante Moore, Darian Mensah, Julian Sayin, Julian Chambliss, Josh Hoover, Jeremiah Smith, Gunnar Stockton, Sam Levitt, John Mateer, Jin Mayava, and Marcel Reed. Out of those, is there anyone that's catching your eye, or do you have any dark horse contenders that you want to throw out there? Matt, we'll start with you.
Mensah. I know that part of it is because Mike Ryan is super plugged into the program, but he doesn't puff out his chest ignorantly, and I think Mensah is going to be really good. He's not going to have as good of a line as Beck did last year because they are bringing in newer guys, but that line is still going to be good. They're going to fall in line, and I think Mensah is I don't know, man. I think about Cam Ward. I think about Carson Beck. Both of those dudes looked really, 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 really good, man. They looked really good. And Miami has proven the last couple of years that they know how to play with QBs, man. And I just feel eventually one of these guys has to win the Heisman. So if they get off to a good start, and he's got a good receiver core too, if they got off to a good and he's got a lot of weapons of his own too. I just feel eventually a hurricane's got to be coming through.
It's not. I mean, he's fourth in there, and I hate to say it, but Miami's been well coached over the last couple of years. So I hate to say it. But they've been coached very well. They're going to continually be on top of that ACC. So if not now, when at this point? Ryan, what do you think?
Sorry,
yeah. Sorry.
I mean, this should not come as a surprise. I'm picking Sam Levitt at plus 2,000.
I thought you were going to pick Mateer.
No, I'm going to take Levitt at 2,000. I'm a big Levitt guy. I think him going to the SEC, he's going to get a chance to showcase his skill set. He's got a lot of talent on that offensive line in general. They probably have the best tackle prospect in the draft coming up at left tackle, who is like a generational pass protector. They're a stable of great running backs. Their wide receivers are super talented. They probably have the best tight end in the country in Trez Green, who is like 6'5", 250, runs a 4.5. Like he's an athletic freak. Like he's going to play under Lane Kiffin, who's going to open up that offense and utilize Levitt's skill set. He's going to put up a lot of numbers. I also think he's going to be really good. Like I think he's going to have the counting stats, and his record's going to be good enough where I think plus 2,000. We're going to look back on this in like 6 weeks and be like, why was he so low?
I mean, I do love me some Sam Lynn, but that's a great pick. Jay, do you got any thoughts on the Heisman?
I got a few. I mean, I like Ohio State, just like they have two guys already up there with Julian Sayin and Jeremiah Smith. So I want to see what they look like. Jeremiah Smith had a really good season last season. Do I see him winning the Heisman? I don't know. It's a little bit of a quarterback award at this point. But I do want to see what they look like on the field. Just get him the ball, get him out in open space, and just let them go because they had a pretty good season last season. Like, let's see what Jeremiah Smith looks like going into this season. And then also, who kind of interests me is Dante Moore in Oregon. Like, I think that he was someone who was kind of just like in that mix last season. Of course, he was a little bit of a loaded quarterback carousel going on with the Heisman last season. But I want to see what it looks like now. Like, I don't think there's a lot of talent, but I also think that he has the talent to kind of fit in with a few of these guys. So I do want to see what his league going into this next season looks like as well.
Yeah. For me, I would look. Signetti has been an incredible coach. Not just in Indiana, but James. I think they've lost 3 games in the last 3 years in general, with both JMU and Indiana. Josh Hoover's a good quarterback. He did well at TCU. It's not his fault that they were kind of mediocre. As good as Mendoza has been, I could see Hoover being just as good. I don't think that means that he's a number 1 quarterback this coming time around in the NFL draft. But you're telling me that Hoover can't win a Heisman? I would take that bet. And I'm going to throw out a dark horse. And Ryan, I'm surprised you didn't say this. This Big 12 right now, there's a lot of uncertainty. Like, yes, Texas Tech theoretically should be the team that wins it, but we just saw what happened with the whole entire offseason, and that's going to probably put a lot of strain on Texas Tech, and they did lose a lot of talent. You look at the top 25, BYU could be good, but they've been good, not great over the last couple of years. Utah, they have a new coach. TCU just lost their quarterback. Why couldn't Oklahoma State make some noise? And if they do that, why not do Messamaker?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's doing my heart some good, Kyle. I'm so proud of you.
If you can put those numbers up in North Texas, especially with a Big 12 that is been for years, their profile is great offenses, not great defenses. Why can't Drew Messamaker make some noise?
He is very highly touted coming in. Like, I think some people have him as high as like QB3, potentially going in the draft next year. Like, a lot of people are very high on him. I do have a dark horse I'd like to throw out there, just if no one else has someone to want to throw out.
Wait, so Messamaker wasn't in even the top 10?
Nope.
Just because I don't think he's going to have the record. My dark horse is a guy who played for South Florida last year, Byron Brown. He's going to Auburn with Alex Golash, and I think the step up in competition with better weapons, I think, if Auburn has a good year and he's able to put up those dual threat stats that he's really known for, I think he could be a dark horse candidate for Heisman. He was, last year, like going into like week 8, like a dark horse candidate for Heisman. He was, I think like top 10 in voting for like projected odds. So like step up competition. He's in Alex Golas's offense. He already knows how to do it. Auburn's got obviously more talent than South Florida does. Like I think Byron Brown could be a really interesting dart throw if you're looking for a dark horse candidate.
My
I was
thing
going
with
to throw
that
that
though
one
is
out
that
there.
Auburn are so poopy. Like it's Auburn, man.
We've seen what
But
Alex
is that
Golas has
because-
done. He's turned around South Florida and like quickly. And he's got more
but
talent to work with this year.
I don't know, man. This kind of feels like Stefanski on the Browns. I don't know, man.
But look, Auburn was good
like
before their last one.
It's Auburn. Like I just like this because then I also recall just Mike Ryan saying that like they were already a little salty that they got Golash because I think they wanted Summerall because there was a second where Florida had Kiffin, and if Florida was going to get Kiffin, Auburn was going to go hard to get Summerall. Or yes, wait, because it's Summerall that's at Florida, right? The former Tulane coach, yeah. So like that's the thing, like, and that's my thing. I don't think Goloff is a bad coach. I don't think Brown is a bad player, but like I just feel like something's gonna happen administratively that's gonna prevent them from fully getting shit done, even on the field. Like I know that the administration is not on the field, but like you know how shit like that always gets in there, and like it's always nosy, and like it's Alabama, man. I don't know. I don't trust that fucking state.
Counterpoint. I think you're equating Auburn with their last head coach.
Yeah.
Hugh Freeze is a shitty person and a shitty head coach.
He's a shitty coach.
Because their coach before that, their head coach before that wasn't a bad head coach.
Gus
I'm just
Malzahn?
going to throw that out there. Gus Malzahn was not a bad. Oh, sorry, 2 coaches ago.
Yeah.
Right?
I was gonna
Gus
say,
Malzahn
wasn't it
did
Brian Harsin?
Yeah, so because of Brian Harsin and Hugh Freeze, 2 not so great coaches, I think that's tarnished a lot of the work that they've done over the last 10, 15 years. Because Gus Malzahn was a good coach for them. And Golish can definitely do that again for them.
Golish is a good coach. Like,
I'm not saying he's not. I just think sometimes the administration get in the way. And like I think that's the only thing that concerns me. If it doesn't work out, I don't think it'll be because of him. Like I am not taking a swipe at him. I am not. If anything, this is a swipe at Auburn.
That's fair.
That is fair.
Looked at Drew Messermaker's odds. His odds right now are somewhere between 5,000 and 7,000. So not terrible, but definitely not in the range. Right, it's definitely a dark horse range for Messermaker, which I think they're going to be able to easily surpass that at some point. It's going to be a fun race. I feel like this year is a lot more wide open, and I guess like we could do some hot takes, but like for me, something I feel like I want to say before the season starts, especially for people who have been on the fence with college football, or maybe just dived into college football with the expansion of the playoff. I think this is going to be a different kind of interesting season comparatively to last year. It's going to be very tough to top what happened with the wildness of the head coaching carousel, right? We're not going to have Franklin. We're not going to have Hugh Freeze. We're not going to have, LSU open up. We're not going to have all these big programs open up at the same time. And that might mean that we not get the same type of upsets that we did last year or the same type of storylines. But I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing. I think what's going to happen more this year is that this is going to be feeling like a more wide open year in the sense that a lot of teams have a chance to win this year. Even Ohio State's not necessarily a lock to win it all. No, neither is Texas, neither is Miami. Indiana's in that group. Notre Dame's in that group. A lot of these teams are good, but they also lost a lot of really good talent recently, and there's a lot of there's a hole or two on every one of these teams that can be exploited. So I am very curious to see how this season's going to shake up. I think we're going to have maybe it's not going to be upset heavy, but I think we're going to have a lot of teams in the mix, and we're going to go into this college football playoff not necessarily knowing the sure all bet to win it all. And even when it hasn't, like Ohio State lost last year, Oregon lost 2 years ago when they were the surefire bet. So I think this is going to be a really interesting, wide open season that might come off as, well, there's no good teams, but it could also just be that they're all very solid, but none of them are great. So that's going to open up the floor, because I don't know how much time we feel like we have left, but any sort of hot takes you want to get off before the season starts. Because, guys, once Saturday hits, we're going to start having some real football, and it's going to feel real good.
I will lightly push back on that. I think there will be – I think this year – I don't know who – but I think this year we're going to have a giant we want to see get slain. Because, like, I don't think Indiana was quite that last year. Like, I don't think anyone wanted to see them get slain. And, like, I don't think they were, like, hunting people down. I think – because, like, again, they were, like, a historically bad program. This year, though, and I'm also not saying that Indiana is going to be this. This year, though, I think we're going to get a final boss.
Okay.
I think we're going to get
if
someone
you had to,
that everyone doesn't like, and that they're going to want to stab in the throat.
If you had to make a guess, who is your person that's going to be the villain that needs to be slain?
I have three. I have three. They're not people. They're teams. And I think they're going to be, and like if they're the villains, I think it's going to be deserved. I don't think it's going to be hype. I think part of it'll be hype, but I think it'll be like deserved, if that makes sense. Whatever. I'm stalling. It's my three are Texas, Ohio State, and Miami. I think one of them is going to be the final boss.
Okay.
And I don't mean like one of them that's going to like fart out in like the second round. Like, no, I think they're going to be the one that like people get pissed the fuck off at.
That would be fun. Ryan, you got a hot take for the season? Oh, we can't hear you, Ryan. Let's see. Is this going to work?
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Yes, now I can hear you. Yes.
Okay. My hot take, Indiana misses the playoffs.
Interesting.
I like that.
Indiana takes a step back this year. After going 15-0, I think there's going to be massive expectations for this football team that they've never really had. Even going into last year, they weren't really looked at as a favorite with a target on their back. I think this year, starting off, they're going to get everybody's best shot. I think people are going to want to take down Cignetti. I think some people may not like him too much just based on his mannerisms. I wonder about the step up in competition for Josh Hoover. I'm not entirely sold on just how good of a quarterback he is. I think losing Omar Cooper Jr. and Elijah Sherrod's going to be a big task to overcome. Losing D'Angelo Ponce, who was the heart and soul of that football team last year, it's another huge loss for that program. Yeah, they finally have recruited really well, but again, there's a lot of young players coming in to fill these roles of players that came in through the transfer portal who were older and more seasoned. And I think Cincinnati's going to have a younger team who may not be ready for prime time, who may not be ready for everyone's best shot. And I could see them, being the 22nd or 23rd best team in the country and not qualifying for the playoffs. Maybe like a 10-3 or a 9-4 season. That there might be some growing pains early on in the season for them. So it wouldn't surprise me if Indiana still has a good year by, their standard of the last 115 years to be an amazing season if they went 9-4. But I think there will be not a significant, but a solid step back for Indiana with all these new young kids coming in who maybe aren't ready for the prime time just yet.
That's very spicy. There's been people who are saying that Ohio State might have that same thing of not necessarily missing the playoffs, but maybe not being as good as people think because also they lost a lot of defensive talent. And Julian Sain was very accurate, but we also saw what happened when they had to face an actual good defense. So there's some Big Ten teams that may have a really big target on their back. Jay, do you got any hot takes for the start of the college football season?
Yeah, this is a little bit of a callback to what me and my friends were talking about last season, and just the collapse of Penn State. I'm gonna go out and say they're gonna be decent this year. They're gonna bounce back, new coach, pretty much had to like redesign their entire team after they lost out on a lot of their guys in the portal they wanted, a lot of their prospects. So I think they're gonna actually be decent. I'm gonna give them 8 wins. If they get 10, that'd be cool. But they need positive. They need positive PR after this past week. So maybe that'll get guys going if they can get some wins here.
Jay, do you want to quickly touch on that because that's a funny story?
Yeah. Penn State they did what they usually do, and they got caught up in some drama, some scandals, and they had almost a dozen guys get arrested in what looks like a cocaine ring that they're pushing through their fraternity. Yeah, that's a real thing. That happened.
And then they say it was like for initiation.
Yes.
Yeah, part of initiation, like they had to like stack the bricks or some shit.
Mm-hmm. You either had to sell them or cut them.
Yeah.
Insane. And here's my favorite part.
My favorite album is crazy.
God, I love Penn State, man. Never change.
My favorite part of the whole thing is the head of the ring was an I guess he was a supply chain major at the school.
Oh my God.
I forget what his major was, but it was something business related. And I'm like, oh my gosh, this man was literally running a cartel out of a frat house.
Guess what major's about to get cut, Jay?
Oh my gosh. You can only major in finance from here on out at Penn State. I guarantee it.
Oh my God, that's awesome.
So go Penn State this year, guys. Go Penn State.
It would also be super funny because Franklin's MO was he's great, but he can never beat Michigan or Ohio State.
Yep.
What if Matt Campbell could take down Indiana, Ohio State, and Michigan en route to winning the Big Ten in his first year?
I like Matt Campbell, dude. I'm a fan.
Rocco Beck's also a good quarterback.
I think Matt Campbell's a good head coach.
I could see him as a dark horse, especially if they do well in the Big Ten. I could see him rising up the ranks for a Heisman. Like, I know we kind of talked about that last year after Kansas State and Iowa State.
Man, we were bored.
Iowa State. Yeah, we really were, weren't we? But hey, he's at a bigger time school. Why couldn't Rocco Beck potentially get his name into the Heisman race? That would be, guys. We finally got actual football we can talk about, not preseason.
It's great.
I can't wait. I know we got a little bit of time left, and I wanted to throw something out because I know we didn't touch on certain things, and I know Ryan brought some stuff up in the group chat. I know there's probably some other stories that we can touch on. So what I'm thinking real quick to end the show today is all of us doing each of us getting a chance to do a what's on your mind. If you guys have something that you would love to talk about, because Ryan, I know maybe we can start with you. I know that you were interested in some of the basketball moves that happened recently in the NBA.
Yeah. So I'm a big fan of what the Cavaliers did in acquiring Peyton Watson. We've been struggling to fill that small forward role for a very long time. Um, it's a position on the Cavs where you kind of have to thread a needle where you have a smaller backcourt that doesn't really defend very well, and you have two bigs that don't really space the floor very well. So you need a guy who can space, who can shoot the three, and who can defend and take on that point of attack of being the primary defender on the team's best player. And getting Peyton Watson and only giving up a first and a second and shipping off Max Strus, who was kind of redundant by bringing in Peyton Watson, I think is a really great move. Give him 4 years, $88 million. You're taking a bet on his upside. He's only 23 years old. Last year when he was the primary scorer, when I think Jokic was out for like a month, he averaged 23 points a game. I think there's a lot of upside to Peyton Watson. I think there's a lot of potential still left over that you can maybe squeeze out of him. And I think he's going to be a really good fit on a Cavaliers team that, now with a starting five of like James Harden and Peyton Watson and, Donovan Mitchell, Jared Allen, Evan Mobley, that's a pretty good starting five in the East. And I think that significantly raises the ceiling of this team. If you can get Peyton Watson, give you 16-7 on 40% shooting from three and give you, maybe not being the lockdown defender that some people think he is, but give you good quality point of attack defense, being able to work over screens and contesting shots. I think that seriously raises the ceilings of this Cavaliers team in the East. And it kind of just speaks to how much of a bloodbath he's going to be next year with all these teams loading up on talent. And they're going to beat the crap out of each other. And whoever gets on the East has absolutely earned it coming out next year. It's going to be maybe one of the funnest Eastern Conference seasons to watch in recent memory, to be fair. East's always been kind of looked at as the little brother of the West for a while now. I think the East is finally now stacking the deck to the point where the East is now must-see basketball from top to bottom of these contenders. Yeah. And I do want to touch on also Jonathan Kuminga going to the Wolves. I think that's a really good move for them too. Gives them a guy off the bench, or if he's going to start, a guy who can be a primary scorer when Ant's not on the floor and LaMelo's on the floor. He can be that spark plug on leading that second unit to be a guy who can get you 15 to 17 off the bench and really allow Ant to have a longer rest period where he doesn't have to carry the load night in, night out. I think will help keep Ant fresh. I think it will help keep LaMelo fresh, who's always had injury problems. And I kind of low-key just think the Wolves have kind of positioned themselves to be a real force in the West now with all this high-end scoring talent that they have. They take a step back defensively, losing Nasreed and losing what they gave up to acquire LaMelo and Kuminga. Yeah, but I think the offensive upside for this team is much higher, and I think the Wolves can compete for a top 4 home court seed going into the Western playoffs.
All right, two quick questions for you, Ryan. Rapid fire. With the move for the Cavs, where are they in the East hierarchy?
I think you still have to give it to Philly as the favorite to come out just based on what they've done in the offseason. Yeah, it kills me to say. I think the Knicks, and you can make the Knicks and Philly kind of co-favorites, but I think the Cavs are right there at that 3-4 spot. I think Peyton Watson, like I said, really raises the floor and the ceiling of this team because if you can get him to keep developing at age 23, what could he be in 2 years? He could be a perennial 18-7 kind of guy who could be one of the elite 3D guys in this league. I think it significantly raises their prospects this season, and I think with that starting five, you could put them maybe third or fourth and fighting for home court coming out of the East. I really, really like the move. I'm a big fan of Peyton Watson. I think there's a lot of untapped potential for a guy who's never really gotten his chance to be a focal point of an offense.
Yeah, and then the second question is because you're talking about the East, is this the most balanced NBA? Okay, this is the most balanced NBA league that we have seen since when?
Yeah, I think this league's incredibly balanced right now. You have a lot of these teams, especially in the top half of each conference, who've voted up and who've drafted and developed really well. The West, you still got Minnesota, you got San Antonio, you got the OKC, you got the Lakers, you got a lot of these young up-and-coming teams who could be really productive, like the Pelicans just went outside Benedict Mathurin, which I think is a really great addition for them too. And then the East 1 through 8 is just so deep, so deep. It wouldn't be surprising if the 8th seed is the Boston Celtics and they win 48, 50 games. Like, I think this East is just as competitive as we've seen it. I don't even know since when, to be honest. I don't remember the East ever this many number of contenders with such good rosters where it's all kind of spread out. Not one or two teams has all the centralized talent. I think this is probably the deepest East I've seen since I've been a basketball fan, to be completely honest. And I'll turn over to Jay. Like, Jay, what do you think? Like, how have you ever seen the East this deep and this competitive in all years watch basketball?
No, I think I've been saying this to all my friends. Even if it's not a contender, you look at a team like Washington or Atlanta, they'll make a series interesting with you. You know, like it's not like I don't think that there's a team that's not going to necessarily get a game over or that can't get a game over another team. You know, now I say that and then watch like the Knicks sweep everybody. But I genuinely look at this Eastern Conference and I'm like, even as a Sixers fan, I'm looking and I'm like, not gonna lie, Miami would make a series interesting against Philadelphia because of how they play defense.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
yeah,
and we write off teams like Orlando. Like Orlando made the playoffs interesting in that first round, even though they looked like they didn't want to play in the play-in. Like,
I don't talk about Detroit who won 60 games last year.
Right.
Yep.
You know, they're still trying to figure out what they're doing with Jalen Duren. Like, there's a lot of, I mean, everybody knows the Nets are bad, so that's not, you don't have to worry about that. But outside of that, like, there's a lot of potential for a lot of teams, and you're right. Any team coming out of the Eastern Conference that gets to that finals deserves it because it's not going to be easy.
I mean, you finally got. I mean, I don't watch a lot of NBA during the regular season, but like this might be the season where it's like so much fun. I look. There are teams that are head and shoulders above others, right? We can't leave out OKC. We can't leave out Philly, but it's wide open. And I think the last time I can think of this being this wide open, honestly, I think it's when Donovan Mitchell was on the Jazz. I think like right at the end of the Heat, Big Three. I think I remember it being at least touted as potentially being a very deep year. So this is going to be a lot of fun. Jay, do you got anything on your mind that you want to talk about?
Only thing that's on my mind right now is just this NFL season. I'm ready to get it started. I think that it's going to be pretty competitive for the most part. I think there's a few favorites. Like I've just been thinking about how the Rams are just going to finesse everybody and they're just going to re-sign freaking Aaron Donald back and just win the league. And it's going to be really fun for everyone else. But outside of that, like I really do think like football, the world's just better when football's happening. Everybody gets to I sit down, watch their team, rep their colors, and it's an event. Every week feels like an event. I gotta get home to watch the game. Did you catch the game last week? What are they gonna do this week? Right? Just have one of my fantasy drafts. But one of the things that's also been like on my mind because I've been doing a lot of drafts and stuff is like the Giants were a team that had a lot of promise last year. I know we don't talk a lot about the Giants, but like what do they look like this year, right? Are they going to is their young core of Jackson Dart, Cam Scadaboo, and Malik Neighbors? Are they going to be healthy? Are they going to be fun to watch? What do they look like in that NFC East? Right? I feel like it's just kind of like a 2-team race, 3-team race. But like, at what point do you make that step? I just think it's going to be a fun season. Seattle won it last year. I wouldn't put my money on them. I didn't put my money on them to win it. So it's like I don't know who's going to come out of the NFC West as a whole. I don't know who's coming out of the NFC. I don't know who's coming out of the AFC. I don't know if Patrick Mahomes is playing this year. I don't know anything. I'm just excited to watch football. So that's all I got.
Hell yeah. It's almost here, guys. Matt, anything on your mind?
Yeah, I saw a Jets headline that just really bothered me. It's the Jets. They're right now touting Frank Martin, not Frank Martin. Jesus H. Frank Frank Reich. They're touting his offense. I forget who. It might have been Garrett Wilson. I hope to Christ it wasn't Garrett Wilson, but someone was quoted as saying, "Is it's the offense of their dreams," and like I just, I hate the Jets. I am very much looking forward to football.
I love how you can. I love that there's those two wolves in your body, right? The one that loves football, but the other one that completely hates the Jets and how they intermingle together.
I mean, like, I didn't let the Knicks sucking prevent me from enjoying basketball.
I mean, that's
we didn't
fair.
let the
That's
Bills
fair.
be bad stop us from watching football, loving football.
That's oh my gosh.
Yes.
You have so many Bills t-shirts, and you got so many of them when they were very bad.
Yeah. I actually probably need to get rid of some of them. I don't have space. Speaking about what's on my mind, I was going to go between two of them, but I want to leave the 5-for-5 rule for another day because I feel like it is a really interesting thing that we need to talk about, especially in NCAA right now, because there's a lot of things that are happening with that rule that are causing a lot of issues with both football and college basketball. There are some guys right now who are considered eligible to play for college basketball and some who are not, because just based on how things have been ruled recently. And also, for those who haven't seen, there's players who are coming from the NFL who are on practice squads who are now going to be at LSU. So there's some wild shit going on that I think we need to talk about at some other point. I do want to bring up something because you were talking about the Bills, and Matt had talked about it a little bit. Something that happened or came out about a week or two ago. A story about Ed Oliver and his son who had died unintentionally due to drowning. And it's a really sad story, but something that's really, really frustrating about the story was that it was leaked basically without Ed Oliver's permission. From what I'm understanding, there was I don't remember who the name is. Ryan, maybe you can, or Matt, you can give me the name of the person. But he basically went online, and I guess he had been holding this information for a very long time, and just thought it was best to let this information go now, and that there's this cry of why wasn't this told earlier? If you have information as a journalist, you should be giving it to the people. And like, no, I'm sorry. Like, I understand some of this journalistic integrity kind of thing, but like, not for a story like this, guys. Like, there's a reason why the Ed Oliver family was trying to keep this to themselves, because you can only imagine losing a 2-year-old, especially to something like that, and to try to live your life, try to still be playing football, trying to still have your family in one piece, and then being criticized for this information not coming out sooner. I can never imagine what Ed Oliver is going through. There's only a handful of people who have ever gone through that. And just because Eric Clapton decided to make a song about it doesn't mean that everyone needs to be putting out exactly how they're feeling. There's people who need time to grieve. There's one particular person on the Dan Le Batard show, a producer by the name of Roy, who had one kid, was supposed to have a second one, but I believe there was health complications, and they were not able to have this kid, or there was a birth, but then passed away like very, very, very immediately. And for about a year, they never talked about it. It wasn't until a special podcast that they brought it up. And technically, he is also part of the quote unquote public. But similarly, like, honestly, guys, mind your own damn business sometimes. Like, we don't need to know everything about everybody, especially something so serious as that. So, Ed Oliver, you're the man. You've done so much for for Buffalo, both on the team and outside it. I'm wishing you nothing but the best for you and your family. And, hopefully this is an incredible season for you. And, you find some peace while playing because, it's not even like close to speaking from experience. But, I remember the year that my dad passed away and how much sports meant so much to the healing process. So I hope that having that camaraderie will help you get through this and know that all of Buffalo, all of rational Buffalo is behind you.
Amen to that.
So yeah, thank you so much, everybody, for watching tonight. It was a little bit different today, but we made it work. Jay, thank you for joining us. Anything you want to promote, and where can we find you?
Nothing I really want to plug anything. I will say Instagram j.johnson_812. And good news, guys, I got a job with the actual radio station. So
Yeah.
It's a promotions assistant job, but I'm excited. I'll be in the Philadelphia area, so I'll be right at home. I'll be in West Philly, where I was actually born and raised. So I'm excited for that. Yeah, they finally got me in 2400 Market Street. So Odyssey, I will see you there. That's all I got.
Nice. Ryan, thank you for joining from work and also in the car. Where can we find you? Anything you want to promote?
Find me at Instagram at Ryan12490. Nothing really want to promote. Just want to say we got football back, guys. We're gonna have a lot of content to make off both college football and the NFL. So if you like what you're seeing, like, comment, and subscribe, please. It does a lot of good for us. So we really appreciate everybody who takes the time to do an event and to view our stream.
Yes, important. Please subscribe. Please like. We're going to be on. Hopefully, going forward, we're going to be on Tuesdays at 9 and have it consistent. And we're going to try to keep building this up, especially with sports starting back up in full. We want to build this channel. We want to build this show so we can keep doing incredible things with this because it's really fun and we love doing this for you guys. Matt, this is feeling a little bit different this time around, but Matt, thank you for joining us. Where can they find you and plug what you want to plug?
You can find me at Schmatty_B. I got my first football game. The Ray Eagles are going to be taking on the Burlington Cougars. Ray last year battled through injury, but still made it all the way to the state semifinals, where they fell to eventually state champion Lyman. To get to that matchup against Lyman, they beat up on Burlington. Like, they beat Burlington 55-8. So it'll be interesting to see how Burlington is feeling heading into this matchup, because it is a tough matchup. And Ray is bringing in a lot of new starters, but oh man, I think it's going to be a fun season football wise. That game's going to be at 7 p.m. Mountain Time, so 9 p.m. Eastern Time. You can listen to that on the Media Logic radio app, available literally on all platforms, streaming platforms.
Nice.
That is.
Can't wait.
Platform.
Definitely check it out. If you like what Matt's doing on here, he's 10 times better on play calling, and that's nothing against what he does on here. He does incredible, but he also is one heck of a play caller and a play-by-play guy. So keep an eye out for that. You can find me at MusicFan77. I'm going to be moving this week, but once everything is all settled, I have some videos in mind. A couple of quick shout outs for music. Winter Phillip, if you want to check out their new black metal album, it is awesome. It's so much more varied than their album 2024. I was literally listening to Lacuna Coil today, their album from 2025. Ryan, you know who Lacuna Coil is. It's actually pretty damn good. Their album from 2025 is really fun. I haven't listened to an album of theirs in over 10 years, so I don't know if it's any new or if it's the same playbook, but it's one fun hell of a playbook. And just real quick, and they deserve so much more time than what we have. We got to say, very rest in peace to two absolute legends who unfortunately have passed away over the last 2 days. Dolly Parton passed away yesterday. An incredibly influential country star, but an even bigger and more influential philanthropist in a time where we are losing when we're having a hard time with literacy. She was a godsend being able to, through her organization, bring books to people who needed it. Absolutely incredible work. Also the fact that really cool story that because of Whitney Houston, I Will Always Love You eventually became probably the more popular of the versions. But she still got royalties. So every time that she got royalties, she would send it back to the African American community. So someone who could have been a billionaire but decided to do some really good work. She will dearly be missed. And then Tim Curry, that one really hurt, passed away today. For those who don't know who Tim Curry is, he was in Clue. He was Nigel in Wild Thornberrys. He was in Rocky Horror Picture Show. So many iconic roles, and an incredible actor, incredible range. Both of these people who just passed away, huge advocates for the LGBTQ community. So they are going to be severely missed. And thank you for everything that you brought to us. And we hope that you are kicking it up in heaven wherever you are. You guys will surely be missed. So that's our show, but I don't want to leave without Matt doing his sign off, because even though I was hosting, we still have to do the right thing. So Matt, if you would be so kind.
Always remember, fight back against those as Dunning-Kruger. Dark Enlightenment is a hoax, and don't just strategize. Remember to empathize. We'll see you next week, baby birds.